Cloud. So, hey, welcome everybody. This is December 4th, and this is a two-part series on, what is it? What if you are the gift? You know, it's pretty fitting for December. And what I do in these 1 hour long Zoom clarity hours twice a month is just kind of sprinkle the tools of access consciousness and, you know, using different topics, and people can ask questions to show you how you can continue to use these tools in between the classes that you take, and for us to just reconnect more often than every once in a while. Because what I find happens is you go to a class, you get all this awareness, and then you go home and you get around all those people that you're normally with, and nobody has this insight and nobody has these possibilities, and you start to kind of bring your energy back down, and it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And so today I wanted to talk about being the gift that you are in the world, to show those people that there is another possibility. So if at any time you have a question or something that you want to look at, like, this is a free-for-all, so I welcome it. Just take yourself off mute. And somebody is sending me a message because they don't have the code, so give me a second. You know, there's always a straggler person.
Julie.
Yes.
I had to put myself on mute. So would you check and make sure you are recording? I wasn't muted by you. I muted myself earlier.
It says recording.
Okay, great. Just want to make sure for you.
Sure, thank you. Okay. So there's a bunch of people in different time zones. They're going to be getting the replay. So thank you for being live, though. I think it really helps. And let's just start off by lowering our barriers, becoming really present with our body and with each other. And let's expand our being out and connect with each other around the world. There's someone in Australia, there's people here in San Francisco, there's someone in Nebraska. I know that there's people like in Turkey and in Guatemala and all these amazing places around the world that are either joining now or will be in the future. So let's just include their energy. And I always find that when we take that moment to expand and to lower our barriers, we can be more present with anything that's going on. Usually all the crap that we're dealing with, or most of the crap that we're dealing with, falls away when we become present and when we expand. So that's my go-to tool. Cool. Do you guys notice a difference? Cool. Okay, so I have a few notes, and I would love your contribution, you know, what's going on in your world and how we can apply these tools to you. So the first question is, what difference are you that is a gift that you've been seeing as a wrongness? Yeah.
Yeah, loud, bright.
Yeah.
Weird.
Loud, bright. To this, to that, too much, too perfect in some people's eyes. Too easy.
Or not fitting in their little boxes. It's interesting. Someone said to me yesterday, I've been going to dance for 10 weeks and in all that time, not one person has asked me who I am or what I do or anything. And they turn around and say, we know nothing about you. We don't even know if you've got children or not. And I went, well, they've never asked me. And they still didn't ask me. Didn't ask me. So I just had a drink of wine with them and just enjoyed their company, and that was that.
You know, a lot of it is that people don't necessarily know what to ask. Sometimes our energy is so different that people are just stunned. So everywhere we're making that a wrongness, and everywhere we're feeling like we're not an invitation, or that there's something wrong with us because we're not the same as everybody else and we don't fit in. Will you destroy and uncreate that?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
I have something to say, Julie, too. I notice for me, I do yoga every day, and I'm like the mayor at yoga. So I go in, I know everybody, and I really do. I genuinely care about them. And I went up to people and I start talking, and then they start conversations from what I brought up. And then everybody starts conversing. And I'm like, wow, this whole room is talking. And I'm like, okay, instead of me being always loud, because I used to look at it as loud and wrong, now I look at it as an invitation for people to converse. And it's been such a remarkable change in my world and their world as well.
That's so cool. Yeah. So when we come out of judgment of ourselves, then the gift that we be
Yes.
up for us and them.
Yes. Amen, girl.
So I have something to say about that. I do know I'm a gift, and I do start conversation, and people find me, what I have to say fascinating, and they want to hear more. That's on one hand, like in gatherings, or if I meet up with someone one-on-one. And yet there are times when I'm kind of standing there in a group, but I'm apart from the group. They're just like interacting, and I feel isolated because they're not including me, because obviously I'm not really in their world with whatever they're doing at the time.
Okay, I need to stop you there.
Yeah.
So it started getting heavy when you said, after you said, and I'm not interacting, when you said because. And it's the because. So what if that's actually not why? And what if you're actually not included? Like, are you included, and do you actually desire to be?
Yeah, as you were talking, something popped out is maybe I chose not to be included, or I choose not to include myself in that conversation.
Yeah, could they hear anything?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. It's like the more we practice these tools and follow our awareness, there are times when there's nothing to say. And you feel like an idiot because there's shit going on and you have nothing to say. And then there are other times when you can open up and say all kinds of things that illuminate things and like break open people's worlds, or even just you can connect. But what if you're aware of where other people are being, and if they're being closed off, and if they're not willing to connect, it's not a reflection of you, it's just their choice. So everywhere we've made that a wrongness, and because of us, and because of something that we've done or been or chosen rather than their choice, we destroy and uncreate all of that. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know who I was talking to. I think it was in my bars class yesterday, Sunday. I was saying how when I first started using these tools, I would be able to talk with some of my friends and share all this stuff about access and how cool it was, and this you can change and that you can change, and here's a tool. And then I talked to my stepmother, and I really couldn't listen to anything she would say. And I'd be like, I'd be like zoning out, and I couldn't hold on to the words that she was speaking. I'd have to put the phone down and then pick it up and go, and I made myself wrong for that for a little while. And Gary was saying that you know when they're going to say something that's going to engage you, that's going to take your presence, and I always do. And it's like all this other stuff is just tape number 253, blah, 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 blah. And why do you need to use all of this energy to pull yourself into this focus to be able to listen to their drivel? And it's not a judgment. It's just an awareness that you're way out here and that shit just doesn't matter. So anywhere that you're making yourself wrong for not being able to connect, not being able to talk to people, or blowing people out of the water, like what if they're asking for that? Everything that is, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
I had a similar thing happen this week where there was a heap of parents getting together for a child's birthday. It was last minute. I already had 50 million things booked to do that afternoon, so I just made it fit with my daughter and everything. But it was interesting how I just couldn't sit and just talk with them because they're all talk like this. And the energy was so slow, and I'm sitting there going, oh, my God, I go crazy. Oh, it's all right, I'm busy. I'm going to keep going with it. But it was interesting reading the energy. It was interesting being aware of it and not making it wrong. And I sat there for a little bit, had a feed. I took advantage of the food and went, okay, this is cool. And it was just interesting how different it is now that I am perceiving and receiving it without judging myself or them, and just perceiving how people can be. And they're so slow, they're so just, I don't know, I can't put it into words because it's not who I am.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I have this clearing from, it's actually from foundation class, excuse me, that really speaks to this. What have you made so vital, valuable, and real about being susceptible, cognizant, and subject to the judgments of others that keeps you living as though judgments are true and you are not? And everything that is, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. That sort of makes my head spin, because a lot of this is about the difference of us as being this wrongness. And if we can come out of judgment of the wrongness of it, or the rightness of it, like neither of them are actually correct or true. So if we could come out of judgment and not make other people's judgment greater than us, then what might be possible? Yeah, and you guys have been taking access classes for a while now. Do you remember what it's like to be with, quote, normal people who have no possibilities in their world? Like, it still blows my mind to go to, I don't know, like the DMV, or even better, the Social Security office. Oh my God. Like, wow. The slowness, the heaviness, the impossibility of everything in life. And we can just walk in, never saying a word, but being the energy that we be, of possibility, of just something different. Whether they get it or not in that moment, it will create a little wedgie in their world. Just by us walking in and showing up.
I had a stranger come up to me in the shopping centre the other day and give me her whole life story. And I just stopped her and went, okay, so every time you say that story, you know you're going back in time and reliving it every time. And that's all I said to her. And she went, really? Oh, yeah. And in that moment, she said, who are you? Oh, can I connect with you? Yes, I'll have a conversation with you again. I don't know if I'll ever speak to her again, but it was just interesting. I get that the seeds of possibility, the what's it called? Can't even think what it is. It's just interesting I get that. I'm getting that more and more, how you just be you and just talk to people or be around people, and you just shift something in them or not.
Yep.
Just
exactly.
Be
I have a
the
story.
and
Yeah.
So I have a story about my being called for jury duty at the Superior Court where I work, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got called at the end of day, and I was being questioned, and they were asking these kind of silly example questions because they want to make a point about whether you're going to change your viewpoint just because you're talking to someone who's in a uniform. So they were saying, like, well, what happened if a bailiff came in from the outside and say the water fountain is giving out wine, and I'm like, I said, maybe I'll say that's interesting. And it had them all in stitches because I was trying to tell them that, my intention is not to align or agree and, and reject or resist. And then I could see the translator trying to follow all of that. And then when they gave me that question, I'm like, I'll just say interesting,
Cool.
So
You
anyway,
probably changed their worlds.
I did.
And how often do we acknowledge that to ourselves? Or how often do we dismiss it? So just take a moment and look back over even just the last year to look at the gift that you have been in the world, to the earth, to your family, to your coworkers, friends, people, strangers that you've never met. And perceive the energy that comes up as I'm asking that. Is it light and expansive or heavy and contractive? And Dawn is laughing. So that can grow if we acknowledge it. And it doesn't mean acknowledge it and make it significant. Oh my God, I'm such a gift. I did this thing for that person. It's not that. It's like recognizing that you being you, walking through the world, changes things.
Yes.
What if the greatest gift that you can be is the gift of change? Even to the people who are in resistance, even to the people who get pissed off, and the people who are asking for it. How many people have you touched that maybe you haven't known cognitively, but like they were on a really heavy downward spiral and they could have ended their life, but by you just being there, change something for them. So everything that doesn't allow you to perceive, to know, to receive the gift that you be, will you destroy and uncreate it? Times a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and meows. That's a really nice energy. What if we were to spend a little bit more of our awake time just pondering that? instead of the other stuff.
Well, and Julie, I appreciate that because, I've been doing a lot of access classes this year and did the 7-day and came back to my publishing business. And it's almost painful for me to be back here in Omaha, Nebraska, doing my publishing business, doing the magazine. But I do know that I do make a contribution, but it's just, yeah.
How can you be with it different is my question.
Yeah.
Like, what if everything that you changed about you in Costa Rica, you could bring to your business and allow your business to expand instead of coming back and having to fit yourself
Right.
into what it has been? And I know that struggle, I've had it as well. But like, what if it could be a simple change, a flip of the switch? Oh, I'm not coming back. Like, hey, business, come and be with me.
Yeah.
In this new space that I'm in. And how much fun can we have creating from here?
And it's like I did that for a week or two. And then all of a sudden, it kind of went poof.
Yeah.
But this conversation, I forgot that energy because it was a beautiful energy that was there for a little while. And then.
Yeah. And that's what it is, you guys. Like, that's why I created this. And even like a lot of other facilitators have monthly membership things, and it's one call a month. And to me, that feels like a year. I used to actually do this weekly. And
I know, you do it with you.
Yeah. And I changed it a couple of years ago, just because there wasn't enough interest in people doing it weekly. So every other week seems to be just far enough for you to get far out of that like yummy energy and feel like, oh no, and then, oh yeah, we can all get together and be this expansive possibility together and expand. And the other thing that I do is I have a free expand group that's every Monday on Facebook. So anybody can join that. And I think it's in the email. I'll send it in the exit email again. But those things and running bars every week really keeps the possibility of continuing the energy and continuing the expansiveness. Because there's a place where you expand a lot and then you become it and it doesn't feel any different, and then you feel like you're less, but you're just used to this bigger space now. And you're so much more aware that you're going to pick up other people's stuff that much quicker. And with the things that they're uncovering right now about the stereotype, the stereotypical cadence, have you heard of that, you guys? The stereotypical cadence came from a telecall that Gary did on stereotypes, Beyond the Stereotype. And what it is, I mean, there's so many different facets of what it is that makes us suck back into this reality. But the stereotypical cadence is sort of blending into the rhythm of normal in this reality. And there's such a pull towards normal and this energy in our lives wherever we live. It's very different in different places. So that's why I like to travel to different places and take classes or facilitate classes, because the energy is so different. But in your life, in your hometown, in your normal, typical work week, There's this stereotypical cadence, and there's also an astrotypical personality that is based on astrology and numerology and all those cards, which is actually this totally pre-programmed personality thing that's part of the VVRs that we've bought into and we are living, instead of being an infinite being with infinite choice, infinite possibilities, infinite capacities. So all that other stuff, and it's so fun, isn't it? You know, what's my number and how am I? And we talked about that the other night, Donna. But like, what if we can, instead of falling into that and having to be that and do such a good job at it because we know it so well, what if we could be the algorithmic interrupt and be different?
Thank you. And can I say something? That
Yes.
is my childhood, and that's not me, my truly being. I just know it out of knowing it. And what I want to ask you is, okay, as an infinite being, I forgot this. Am I the being in the, when I expand out, how does it go? Am I inside the being, or am I, how does that go? Am I outside? Am I bigger than the being, or am I small? How does that go?
The being is what expands. Your body
Okay.
is your body, right?
Yes. Yes.
Most people think of a being inside of their body, this little pea.
Right.
Soul that's seated somewhere inside your body.
Okay.
However, we're an infinite being. Would we be a pea size within our body, or would we be able to expand infinitely? So when we expand our being, filling the room, filling the city, going deep down in through the core of the
clouds,
earth, all the way up through the
yes,
entire solar system and the universe and beyond, everything is inside of us.
thank you. Thank you. So it is, the universe is, we are the universe.
We are one with the universe.
Thank you. That's what I needed. We are one with the universe. Okay. Because I
And
always,
we forget, and we go back into the stereotypical cadence,
yes,
and the astrotypical personality, and all these things
yes,
that are these concepts that have created separation and individuality. But that is
exactly.
not us.
No. So when I expand, I am, what am I doing? Come on, drink it. Hurry up.
You're being space. You're not doing, you're being.
But I can look down and see me doing yoga.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, when you have your bars run and your body is totally relaxed and, quote, asleep, but you're way out there somewhere and you can hear everything that's going on.
Yes.
You can also perceive things way beyond the room that your body is in. So that's part of the capacity of the being. And like, what if we just indulged in those awarenesses to expand that? Because we don't know what it is. We don't know how to define what
So
an
fun.
infinite being is. But like,
so cool.
Stereotypical cadence is, you're a mom, you're a daughter, you're a sister, you're whatever, you work at this, you do that, and this is how it goes.
This is your sign, whatever.
And do it well. Because if you're not, you're wrong.
Oh.
And you can't do it well, so you're wrong. Everything that is, we destroy and uncreate it all.
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pop. So how much of your life and your energy have you devoted to the stereotypical cadences of this reality? Oh. Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Oh my goodness. Like even how much sleep you get and what time you need to go to sleep and all of this. I've had the weirdest sleep things in the last few weeks. Like I'm up for hours in the middle of the night, cannot get back to sleep. And like, what if that is just separating from the stereotypical cadence of what human life is here? I'm like waking up on Australian time or something and like going to those classes or something. I'm up from 3 to 5, 5:30. It's funny. So how much of your life and how much energy have you devoted to the stereotypical cadences of this reality? Everything that is times a godzillion will you destroy and uncreate it. And allow something different to show up. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Andy, when you move, like the sparkles in your background just go so cool. It looks like the energy moving. It's awesome. And it's sort of like this cadence thing. It's like, you know, in the movie The Matrix, when they try to hook you back and pull you back into the Matrix, you know, the police. It seems like the closer you get to breaking free and actually being the infinite being, the stronger that pull is to suck you back into this reality. So someone will pick an argument with you, or someone will call you and they're like, I miss you. And all of this stuff. What I've been doing recently to counteract any of that heaviness, because it is heavy, is to just send like this deep line down into the core of the earth. I'm like, okay, earth, come on. I'm connecting with you. Let me feel that. And as soon as I do, all the anything that's going on, the heartstrings, the possible upset, the whatever, starts to dissipate. And then I've also expanded out 500 years into my future and get the energy of who I be and the consciousness that I be then. And I pull that into now. And that's another really cool exercise that you can play with. It's something that goes beyond our mind. See, our minds are part of the programming that keep us separate and keep us feeling like we're not infinite beings with all these capacities. So when you go out 500 years in the future, like your mind can't possibly comprehend that. But energetically, you can get a sense because you know you're an infinite being. Just like you can get a sense of the connection to the earth in a split second if you ask for it.
Thank you for that. I love that little exercise, or that I'm going to do that.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. It came up yesterday, I think. I'm doing another call at 21 days of having your own back. And I love doing these different things like that because it, like, you just get on live every day and see what shows up. I have no idea. And that's what showed up yesterday. And it was really cool to get the energy of that. What's that?
That's a great exercise. Thank you, Julie.
Yeah.
Along with your other one that I've already told you how much I appreciate. The example you gave for expanding that you used with your daughter.
Oh, yeah.
Very close dipping into the sea of, you know, a place that she's been to, and her arms reaching out to some other country, and her hair flying out into the Milky Way. And I've explained expansion to a few people using that. and they just get it right away. Thank you.
Oh, awesome.
Thanks so much.
Yay.
Yay.
Yeah, it's so funny to recall these things when my kids were so little. Like she was 6 and my son was 3, and now they're grown-ups.
Oh.
But I still remember that, and it worked for them.
It works for people now.
And it works for everybody. Yeah. How cool is that?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. What other notes do I have? So I have a little quote from Gary. He says, "You're the greatest gift the world has. Are you being that, or are you trying to see that other people's judgments are real?" Everything that is times a godzillion. Will you destroy and uncreate it? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. How often do we let other people's judgments override what we know is possible? And like it stomps on our heart, and we're actually doing the stomping because we're allowing that judgment to stop us. So it's not about like getting pissed at ourselves and judging ourselves for not being everything that we are. What if we could just recognize where we have done that and where we've chosen that, and recognize it wasn't necessarily our best choice? We can make a different choice. There can be this ease of choice. It doesn't have to be this force to overcome anything.
And to have someone in your life that will have your back when you're having these moments, when you go into lapsing. I went into a really, really bad moment the other day, and couldn't ring my husband, but I rang my girlfriend, and she just said, "Okay, no, that's not real. Take a breath. This is what it is." And she just got me back to myself, or just back in like a second, and I calmed right down. And it's just like having someone like that in your life to be able to just sort of give you that energetic smack across the face without actually judging you, without any judgment. And she does not do access, so how can it get any better?
Good. Lucky you.
Yeah. So she was just, yeah, it was just exactly what I needed, just to sort of go, what am I doing? This isn't real. Of course it's heavy. I'm crying because it's heavy. None of this is true. And got me back into using the tools and being the energy instead of fuckface that I was behaving like. No judgment.
Yeah. Another thing that Gary says that I really love is like, when you're in that shit, he's like, enjoy the hell out of it. Don't make yourself wrong for not being expansive and peaceful and perfect all the time. Like, he's had shit days. I've seen him when he's pissed. Yeah. You got to watch out if you're talking to him when he's having a bad hair day, because
Simone Millicent filters her recordings, and she shared how she had a bad morning and she just took off and went into this. And you know what? That is really refreshing from the head people of Access and all of yous, is that to have real life, like, don't tell us how to be all the time. Tell us how it is for you, really, because you think that they're just always up here, but they're not. And that was really refreshing. And that's what I love about these calls. And I'm going to contribute that I have been with Julie for 4 years. I've been coming onto these calls, and to be able to take the tools that I learn in Access and use them. And then Julie will energetically give me a smack in the face sometimes. And just go, you've got these tools, use them, sort of like that type of energy. And that's just, this hour every fortnight for me is my favourite time in the world. So thank you, Julie, for showing up for us. Happy you're the gift. You're definitely a gift to yourself and us. And I've got to go. So on that note, everyone, next time you see me, Julie, I will be in Bali. So I'll have
a great time. Thanks for that.
have any fun. Bye, guys.
Okay. That was sweet. Thank you. Okay. Let's see where else we can go. What would it be like if we lived in a world where there was no judgment, where there was no right and no wrong? No choice you ever make. Like, what if no choice you've ever made ever has been wrong or right or wrong or right? It's just a choice. And if it's not creating what you'd like, all you have to do is change your choice. I know it sounds really simple. It is really simple. And in the moment, there's this nanosecond space where you can choose to go into your upset or whatever, or you can actually choose something different. The more you practice allowance, being interesting point of view, not judging yourself or anybody else, the more the space before these choices like opens up, and it's almost like everything goes in slow motion, like the $6 Million Man. Do you remember that TV show? If you guys are old enough.
I do. I'm that old.
But it's like, you know, something will be presented and our habitual response or our stereotypical cadence might be to, you know, get pissed off or react or whatever, or choose the thing that's not going to work out great. Choose the relationship that's going to stifle you instead of allow you to flourish. But this space starts to open up, and it almost seems like a long pause that you can go, maybe I'll make this other choice over here. Or I wonder what this choice would create. I was actually playing tennis a number of years ago with somebody from Access who was just a really different space on the tennis court. And he would say, expand out far enough that the tennis court and the net and the ball and you are inside the space of you. So when he hit the ball to me, my body knew where to be to hit it back. And it was as if time stood still, or there was that pause that opened up that I'm speaking of here, that nanosecond of choice. I kept getting to the place where it was like the ball would hang in the air until I got to the place where I could just go poof, and hit it. So what if we can be that for our choices in life? What if we actually already are? And the bigger question is, do you know where you're going? Do you know what your targets are? Do you know what your priorities are in life? And if you get to a blank, and you're like, I have no clue, it doesn't have to be spelled out.
Well,
But
say more about that. That's I'm really sleepy. But when you say that, what are your targets? What are your priorities? Does that matter? Do we need to, I want you to talk more about that.
well, where is the ocean liner headed? Back when I started Access, Gary would talk about us being an ocean liner at the bottom of the ocean. And we would take classes and bail out all the water. And eventually we'd get to the top of the ocean. And then he's like, then you got to aim your boat, your ocean liner, to where it is that you'd like to go and go on that path. So it's a process of getting up to the surface. Like you can't go there from the bottom of the ocean because it's a lot harder.
Can you give an example, like asking yourself that question? What is your answer to that? Like, where
Well,
are you?
it's changed a lot over time.
Right.
But the greatest way to see what your priorities are in life right now is to look at your life right now and see what's showing up.
Okay.
And if that's not what you'd like, then we make other choices and we make demands on ourselves to change it, and
Right.
we do
Right.
that. Usually I choose a word or something, a concept for the year. And this year I chose joy. And I have a little Post-it note in my kitchen that says, joy, show me what's possible to choose. And
Lovely.
over the year, like it's a simple thing, but over the year, more and more and more joy is showing up. Like I never even like I used to think I was happy, but there's no ceiling on anything. So what is it that is your priority? I'm choosing joy. I'm also choosing ease, joy, glory. Those are easy to have as targets. Yes, Donna.
I have a target. I keep asking for a man, and I've let go of a lot of things that didn't work for me. And I wrote down my list, like Gary says, and I am true to my list. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's not showing up. So, what is it? Is
okay. I do it the same way that I look for a place to live. First of all, you need to have the energy of it and not necessarily specifics.
Okay, I do have the energy. I know what I'm looking for. Yes.
And then you look and you see something and it has maybe this, but it doesn't have all these other things. And instead of going, nope, that's not it, you go, how does it get better than that?
Okay.
Because every time we judge it's not showing up, it pushes it out further.
Okay.
So you've got these ingredients. So it's just a matter of, oh, that has that ingredient. And what about all the others? How does it get better?
But Julie, I do all that and I look around and I do all that. Hi, ooh, hi. I talk to everybody on the street. I go, you're yummy. Okay. Do I really want that? Am I really choosing that? So there's a want.
It feels like there's an underlying point of view.
Yes, there's something there.
What's the underlying point of view?
Huh?
What's the underlying point of view?
This is the one factor. I've never had a man that's ever pleased me or ever been my thing. And now I'm really looking for it. And so what is that I don't think I'll get?
And
there's
whose
something.
point of view is it? Ouchie.
Whose point of view is this? It's mine. It's mine.
Is it?
Shit. Yeah. So, okay. Sorry. Shoot, everybody. So I have a point of view that I'll never find the guy I'll want.
Well, will you destroy and uncreate that?
Oh. Yes, I will.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Because whatever your point of view is, you're right. There'll never be a man to please me. Everything that is, I destroy and uncreate it. Pock and pod.
Pock and pod. I don't go back on the short boys. Will I ever find somebody that please me? Like
what if Well, are you willing to have that in your life?
That's the thing. Do I deserve it? I looked at all that.
That's a judgment.
Yes. Okay. What'd you ask me?
Will you allow that in your life?
Well, I allow that in my life, truth. Yes, no. Oh, I got to know.
So everything that is, and wherever you're buying that from, will you destroy and uncreate it? Right and wrong. Good
Yes,
and
I will.
bad, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And what if you were willing to be that energy for you so that you could perceive that energy in your life and gift it to you
Yes.
and start receiving it?
Yes. I
Then
have
other
done that,
people
but
will
I
treat
haven't
you that way.
obviously because,
Yeah.
sorry.
It's a process.
I haven't done it, obviously, Julie Tootin, because it's not happening. Where are they?
Well, have you ever committed to you?
Yeah.
That would be a no.
Okay. Shit. Obviously not with the mother shit I'm doing right now. So, no, I have not.
So, what was suggested to me a number of years ago by Dain is to take 6 months and commit to you, and to not actually look for relationship, actually choose not relationship. And it doesn't have to be 6 months for you. That's what he said for me. My whole life was one to the next relationship.
Yep.
Hi. So, so give yourself a certain chunk of time, a month, 3 months, whatever you want to choose, and don't be looking for it. Be that energy for you. Create the pull of that into your life, into your world. And when you don't want it, all these people will come out of the woodwork.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Julie. I got that. I got it. Woo!
You're welcome.
Woo! I got the download of that, girl.
So we'll hear a report in 2 weeks. So
Yes.
I'm going to end tonight, and I look forward to seeing you guys again. And I'll actually put the recording of this on my YouTube channel, so you can share it with other people if you think people might be interested. I know I didn't talk about the access clearing statement. So anybody who's curious about what the access clearing statement is, all that right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds, go to theclearingstatement.com and you can hear all about it. All right, guys. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
See you in a couple weeks.
You.
Mwah.
Bye. Bye for now.
Bye.